Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, wishing you a happy healthy start to Slice Wednesday. It's a hump day, baby, and Bitcoin's humping up some price action as well. And there's actually a lot of new things to be discussing today. Thank the Lord for that. Anyways, I wanted to follow up on the higher term time frame Hopium analysis, and then of course follow up on the short term time frames here too, and then how this kind of feeds back into the long term analysis that we've been following up on this channel. Anyways, other than that, I should once again let you know that Bybit still has their promotion going on. It's 0% on maker fees, not just for spot orders, but also for derivative contracts as well if you use the link in the description below. All right, sweet. So let's just jump right on into it. So the Hopium analysis was more or less hinged upon Dixie having a high term time frame pullback in this case. This is the weekly time frame right here, and we have observed many things of particular interest. First and foremost, BBWP representing volatility hitting two extremes in relative recent succession, and then now officially going into contraction does provide the high probability that we're going to see this play into a nice pullback. Now, when I say pullback, please understand that that's not the same thing as reversal here. Reversal talk is no time soon, but a pullback can certainly pull back, well, more in this case. And we have some of the indications that it probably does pull back more. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bearish divergence on the weekly RSI, plus a bearish engulfing dildo on the last weekly closure. And now we have follow through as well. And then we had a weekly jewel sell signal here too. And now, yes, both of them do have negative slopes, assuming that Friday closes like this, alongside the dark blue color that we were looking for last Friday. Anyways, with that in mind, I would be looking for a pullback next targeted region, maybe over the next couple weeks here, maybe sooner rather than later, somewhere around the 21 exponential average, which is this yellow moving average right here at about 108.5. Very likely a bounce to come from there. And then if you do see a break of those lows, I'd be looking for the greater pullback, which you typically do get when you actually have this many drives of bearish divergence on weekly RSI, somewhere around the 55, which should rise up about 105 to 106 region in the next month or two. Anyways, with that in mind, does that benefit risk on assets? Higher term timeframes do seem to have an inverse relationship to Dixie, not a direct relationship. Obviously, in the low term timeframes, I'd certainly say that is not so, but on the higher term timeframes like weekly trend, monthly trend, quarterly trend, yes, they do seem to play opposite of each other. So in this case, likely does benefit, which does open up the possibility for higher price action on Bitcoin. But here's the thing with Bitcoin, as we go through first a recap of the short term time frame analysis over the last few days here, or really over the last week and a half to 2 weeks, and basically we're looking at a break above 19,750 as beginning a retest back up to the medium term time frame range highs at 20,500 or so. Looks like we've just about gotten there in the early morning hours, or actually late hours yesterday. Late for me, it's like 9 p.m. I go to bed. In this case, you can see, yeah, we do have a high of about 20,440. I'd say close enough is close enough in this case. Obviously, the prior condition was validated above 19,750 to 19,800, depending upon your exchange. And then yes, you got that next big move, or relatively big move to the upside. So where does that leave us for now? Well, I want to issue a bit of a potential warning here. This is not an actual warning just yet, but potential. There is a potential trap set up here. We'll go over validation conditions for it soon enough, but do understand that there actually is, there is an obvious setup for a major trap potential is what I'm trying to fucking say, but I can't speak English this morning. Anyways, as we go through the lower term timeframes, now we get to play the same game as before, basically using the 618 as the upside resistance of the current medium term time frame range highs versus still the overall basis, which is about 18,300 on a macro breakdown. But of course, if we are going to be using the same sort of ideology as we have been for the past couple of weeks, which is kind of, kept Bitcoin within these ranges, which has worked pretty damn well, dare I say, then I'll still be looking at 19,750 or 800 on a closing basis as be getting a bit of a trap setup. We'll go into the details of that in a bit here. But for right now, on the lower term timeframes, we are going to see BBWP go into a bit of a slight contraction phase. So I am looking for sideways and likely a short term short-term pullback here. Pullbacks, like I said, can come down as far as, not necessarily that they have to, but as far as about 19,750 to 19,800 without doing anything that is like concerning for the current short-term time frame trend. In this case, I think all lower-term time frames are starting to get relatively high here on BBWP, again representing volatility. So contraction phase likely does imply at minimum sideways and probably a bit of a short-term pullback, and hourly is already doing that right now. So with that in mind, we should go now and check out stochastic momentum, starting off with the 12-hour time frame. 12-hour time frame is actually nice and up as long as Bitcoin's above 19,720, very close to that pivot that we were just speaking about earlier. Again, below there, momentum turns down, and you have in my opinion, a trap completed, and very likely come back down to the overall range lows, which everyone's so familiar with by now. 6-hour time frame is also going to be up as long as Bitcoin's above 19,850. Do notice, however, that it is getting into the critical zone, so going to be difficult to maintain short-term momentum to the upside right now. 4-hour time frame is also going to be up as long as Bitcoin's above 20,100. Same thing here as a 6-hour time frame as far as comments go. 3-hour time frame, literally the same thing. Again, going to be turning down below 20,320, and hourly is probably already down. Indeed, it is below 20,350. So short-term likely does trade sideways and down. But again, I would not say that is confirmed trap until you're below 19,750 on a closing basis. Until then, pullbacks are just higher lows. But here's the thing, because this 20,500 area, which is actually technically a little bit above 20,000 bucks, a little bit above 20,500, just technically 20,530 or 20,550 on a closing basis. I would not be looking for the next potential push to the upside until you do close above that region, 20,530. At that point, very likely another big leg up, probably about an $800 to $1,000 move, somewhere around the 0.5 here, which is about 21,300 to 21,500 or so. By the same token, if Bitcoin does, like I said, come back down below the 19,800 pivot or 19,750 pivot, I would be looking for Bitcoin to generally come back down to 19,000 bucks and probably even take another test somewhere down around this blue box area over here. Of course, we want to see that one in real time, but there is a potential trap set up here. So let me explain. All right, so as far as this potential trap goes, the 12-hour time frame is going to have potential for hidden bearish divergence between the highs that we saw in early October at basically the same level and the highs right here. It will only be confirmed, however, only if Bitcoin again confirms a local high, which would be had below 19,800, probably does it honestly, on a closing basis. If we go to the daily time frame for spot price action, it has the same sort of thing potential here for the daily. Daily RSI is making significantly higher highs than we saw on the early October highs. And if you do see a closure, below 19,800, then yes, that would confirm another local high, thus confirming hidden bearish divergence, thus confirming likely another drive back down to the bottom side of the range. Until then, Boo Laws, like I said, have the hopium in their court with Dixie over here. And then, of course, the big focus of these analyses or analysis, I don't know what the proper scientific term is, but it's going to be this over here. Once again, following up on the daily CME volatility versus stochastic momentum signature. So this one has evolved a little bit more here. It's becoming more and more relevant, and we're very close to confirming a signal. Here's the thing, though. A lot of the time when the signal is, when the volatility component is confirmed, which we'll go over the criteria for that in a second, you do, like, there is a reversal, like a lot of the time, just a personal observation. But here's the thing. Here's a signal, daily BBWP, which represents volatility going down to extreme lows. So extreme contraction phases, which have happened many a time in Bitcoin's history. And this is perhaps, dare I say, one of the greatest times. So this move likely does have a lot of fucking fuel on it, like a lot of fucking fuel on it. Comparable to, other 30 to 50% moves that we've seen in the past for Bitcoin. Anyways, once it gets down to these extreme lows below 10 percentile, the expansion phase that follows that has led to an average move of if I can pull it out over here. You already fucking know. I mean, it's not like anyone new is watching this this stuff anymore. 24.25% done over the course of an average of about 2.5 weeks. Stochastic also been correct in getting the volatility direction expansion, or the volatility expansion direction 83.33% of the time. So very high probability. Not a certainty, however. That is why the direction of the stochastic momentum oscillator as of right now, is kind of a big deal, because it is still to the upside. And it will be remaining to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 19,150. So I would say that that's, more than $1,000 away from current price action on CME, which is interesting. Now, here's the biggest portion of this analysis, however. When does the volatility component of this signal get confirmed? It's very close, actually. It's when two things. One, daily BBWP must have a positive slope and above the moving average. It has both of those right now. Okay, good. But the second portion, which is the full confirmation, is when daily BBWP closes back above the 10 percentile critical region marker. Once we see that, the signal is confirmed, then we reference the daily stochastic oscillator's direction, and then we can see what the high probability expansion of that move is going to be like. So in this case, we can now cross-reference the earlier targets upon confirmation of a breakout above the 20,550-ish level, basically, with the stats over here. So what I've also done is I've taken a first standard deviation measurement of the average move, which gives us areas of interest essentially to both sides until we get actual confirmation. But it would give us areas of interest between 15%, 24.25%, and 33.33%. So we can just kind of play around with numbers here, and 15% on the lower end would put Bitcoin somewhere between 21.5 to 22,000 bucks. So that's if we do see that confirmed to the upside. That would be the first area of interest. The second area of interest would be at about 23,500 bucks, and the third area of interest would be basically the summer highs at about a little over 25,000 bucks. So if this does get confirmed to the upside, which I did say probably happens sometime between this Friday and next Friday, and it looks like we're pretty much right on track for that. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, in fact, but we're pretty on track for that sort of a schedule here. And of course, once that gets confirmed, that's when we have the highly probable move. So as of right now, the probabilities, as they did yesterday and the day before, continue to favor the BULAs, or I guess this has been going on since the 18th. So it's actually been quite some time. It doesn't feel like that, but it has. They crossed up back around the 18th. But still, it's not confirmed until we get the volatility component confirmed. And at that point, very likely big, what am I getting over here? Oh, little emails and shit like that. Stop it, phone. It's enough of that. And very likely has major continuation to the upside if that does occur. And then obviously that can feed into some of the other higher term time frame analyses that we've been looking at that I won't go over on today's video. I won't bring them up basically until the daily is confirmed, because they're likely to bleed on into that, and then that can give us greater targets. Until then, though, be aware of where the potential trap confirmations are, because if that does happen, things will come down, and they will very likely come down very, very fast. But until then, short term, I think the Dixie Hopium is playing out relatively well. So there we go. I think that's a good place to leave off on this particular video. Want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care. Much love. Forgot to mention the quant program, blah, 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 blah. We're raising the price because we're going to be adding more value to it, more videos, of which there was 2 new videos added yesterday, and actually rearranged 3 of the videos, not yesterday, but last week. Yesterday, I rearranged 3 of the videos. I basically redid them, make them more clear. And then we're also going to be adding Discord support in early November. So not just yet. And of course, I've gotten some questions about, will the people who already bought, will they be charged extra? No, don't be silly. No, we don't do that. Cool. All right. That's going to end it for there. Much love. Take care. See you hopefully soon.